I love that your style is you're saying you're blunt, but you don't seem that blunt to me. Like you seem very personable. But like maybe it's because you're humorous as well. So how else do you use that style of blunt honesty in order to build relationships with clients and candidates?
The candidate outreach message. My message, so on LinkedIn, I have an average of between 55 and 70 acceptance rate.
Wow, that's
I
high.
it, it is. And all, you know how LinkedIn works with, credit back once they, accept or decline. I'm always in a surplus situation, which is a good news story for me. But I will tell you the headline that has always brought me, the most amount of attraction back and acceptance back to a candidate, that headline is, I know recruiter DMs can be annoying, but dot, dot, dot. And then I'll go into my message, and my message is always characterized by three distinct pieces of information. Number one is I tell you the company name. I do. I've got a contract with this company. I'm not worried about you going and applying to that job online because my agreement will protect me for that. I want you to do your research. It always drove me nuts as a candidate when someone would say, I have a job with a company and this company is paying top dollar. Do you want to talk to us? Like, I don't know the company. I don't know the money. I don't know anything. So I tell you the money, I tell you the company, and I tell you the role. And I always end it by saying, is this worth your time to discuss? And a lot of times the response that I'll get back is, recruiters aren't annoying. Thank you very much for this. Please send me the job description. Let's jump on a call. Or, no, Jordana, I'm not interested. I've got a great job right now.
Love that. Fantastic. Yeah. And so you're really breaking down barriers by just being so transparent with the information, and then that engenders a much more positive response. So totally see
It's
why
the
that
same
would
with
be.
clients, Mark,
Yeah.
that it'll be the same message in terms of the percentage. I don't hide that. It's listed on my website. So I just find that, especially as the buyer becomes younger and the C-level becomes younger, they don't want to waste their time with these big meetings and this big pomp and circumstance and presentation. Just give me the information.
So how does it apply in a client context then?
In a client context, the message would be similar, and I would send my presentation deck or a copy of the roles filled with reference clients that you can reach out to and reference roles that we've recently filled. So I'm constantly updating that, and it will outline my fees for senior hires, for mid-level hires, and for junior hires because there's a tier system that I work with for that. So 22% for senior hires, 20% for mid-level, and I'll do 18% for junior. And you might argue that that is too low, but what I have found in my business is it allows for affordability. If that internal HR director thinks about using me, but then says, I won't because she's too expensive, that decision-making process of that 18% a lot of times will win me that business. It just happened 2 days ago with one of my clients.
Jordan, I would say I want you to get your rates up still because, and especially here's the thing, you're placing salespeople, right? So
Yeah.
how much revenue and profit is your candidate going to be bringing to that client that is easily going to, more than pay for that extra 2% or 3% or whatever. Um,
Could
but
be
look,
millions. You're right.
yeah, exactly. So, but I'm fascinated by this pitch deck. When are you sending your pitch deck with examples of roles you filled and all that other stuff?
First email. Always
Oh,
on the first
really?
email. Yep.
Okay.
I want you to see the names of the clients I've worked with, and I want you to see the business or the titles of the roles that we've done so that you can see yourself in there and you can say, you've worked in that industry before. You've hired a VP before. You've hired an SDR before. It's the first email.
Got it. So is that in those custom emails that you mentioned, the 10 to 15, and you're attaching your pitch deck in those?
You got it. Yeah. And it's short. It's just a 2-pager. It's a
Okay.
PDF 2-pager front and back. So it's not
Got it.
this 10-page long deck. And I will state my rates in there as well.
Okay. Wow. Fantastic. It's so interesting. What I've learned, Jordana, is that there's not one right way of doing this business, right? And you've found some absolute fantastic practices and strategies that have allowed you to build 500K, which is fantastic by any standard.